Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. Fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? This new Lamborghini here.
Here in my garage, I just got this brand new Lamborghini. I'm gonna go around in this Stavanger Hills. But you know what I like more about materialistic things? Knowledge. It's the only thing I can afford.
Ruymand, the finest guy. Ruymand, the finest guy. Ruymand, the finest guy. Finance rules. Ruymand, the finest guy. You get paid when you work. Ruymand, the finance guy. Right. Sell your stocks in 7 seconds. Ruymand, the finest guy.
My life has never been this unstable. You know, I think that there are some things that you just have to experience and they are kind of priceless. I mean, seriously, it's like a cryptocurrency. It scared the shit out of me. You know, and sometimes it gets overwhelming to a point that, I mean, you gotta fucking talk to someone. And that's what I ended up doing. I was becoming physically ill to a point that I had to go to the university student psychologist. And it's been helping so far, but it's made me think, like, do I want to be an engineer? I don't know. Do I want to be a finance person? I don't know. There's just so many different things I want to do at the same time, and it's impossible. The past year, my interest in investing and just business has escalated to a point where I feel like I was born to do this. Many people say you have to work on creating passive income. Well, what is passive income? Because you're never gonna go from working the way you're working to just sitting in the beach in Mexico. I think that passive income, the way people make it sound like, is just like, that's Hollywood. People make money off ripping people off by their courses. I mean, some of these courses are $6,000 and they don't even do anything. There's just so much noise out in the internet. You have to get rid of the shit, and then finally you'll see one or two people that are actually talking sense. From 2015 till now, I haven't actually traveled anywhere in the summer. I was just saving up, and that's what allowed me to actually get into investing. In 2016, I put in everything I had saved up into long-term investing. It just kind of escalated there. You know, right? So right now my portfolio is just very much spread out. But I also had to accept a few things. Like, for example, if you're thinking about getting to investing and you want the passive income that people keep talking about, there are two ways of doing it: stocks and property. But none of these things come all of a sudden. They're not an overnight work. So when people tell me, you know, what should I invest in? I'm someone who's just been in the game for 4 years, and in the past year, I've become serious about it. I mean, you should never invest in something you don't understand. You should go and invest, but you should never invest in something you don't understand. People will say something, and they're selling the idea, and a lot of people jump on the bandwagon. And they jump on the bandwagon not because they understand what is going on, but because they don't want to lose the chance of getting rich. Do not invest in something you don't understand. You're much better off going to a casino and just gambling that. If you don't understand what you're investing, what's the difference between going and gambling the money than actually investing? Nothing I do is a get-rich-quick scheme. They're long term. You have to wait. And it might not even work out. You should also accept the fact that you're never gonna see it, because it might just crash and burn. And you don't have control over it. The only thing that you have control over the outcome is yourself. So when people say, what should I invest in? You should invest in yourself first, and then everything else. All of these influencers or business gurus are just trying to sell you something. The ones that are not trying to sell you something are the ones that you should actually go ahead and listen to. I personally believe that cryptocurrency is where we're going to be headed. That can just crash and burn in 10 years or even 1 year. You can never know what's going on, but the way I've done it is that I've spread out all of my investments. It's a very spread out portfolio. I even have gold. Originally, 10% of all my investment was in cryptocurrency, but that's just been blowing up. And the reason for that is because I got in at a good time. So I think that I covered everything that I wanted to cover in the video. There might have been a few things I missed out. This is not the usual type of video I make, so I'm still experimenting. But the next thing I want to show you is this interview. Robert Kiyosaki was the one who kind of changed how I view business. I want to share this with you because I really believe everything he's saying is true. The video is from a London Real interview.
My father was the head of education. I go home and ask him, said, why don't we learn about money in school? And he looked at me and says, because the government doesn't let us teach that subject. The government tells us what we can teach and what we can't teach. Aren't we going to school to learn about money? He says, no, your job is to get a job. I said, but you get a job to earn money. He goes, no, you're supposed to just get a job. Isn't the purpose of a job to earn money? He goes, you're correct. I said, so why don't I just learn about money? I can skip the job part, you know. An entrepreneur must know about money or they're no longer entrepreneurs. And he says an employee doesn't have to know anything about money because the government will take care of them, the company will take care of them. Finally, through persistence, my rich dad started teaching me about money on one condition. And that condition was he would never pay me. He says, the moment I pay you, you think like an employee. He says, that's the trap. Entrepreneurs work for free. So I would work for free. I'd pick up cigarette butts and he had hotels and restaurants and I would clean and do menial tasks. And as I got older, I started getting into office work and marketing and accounting, and I was an apprentice basically, but I always worked for free. The moment you accept a paycheck, your brain goes dead. You know, you just got paid. He says, as long as you're hungry, you'll think. You see people say, well, why don't you give the poor money? So the only problem with that is it just creates more poor people.
Give a man a fish, he fishes for the day, or eats for the day.
Yeah, you give a man a fish, you get a lot of people who want more fish, you know. But you teach them to fish.
Do the rich people cringe and say, don't tell them that, Robert?
Yes. Don't tell people what you know.
Right.
Keep them poor. But, you know, unfortunately, the poor will always be amongst us because it starts up here.
Right. It's that fear mentality.
It's in their words, you know, and the words become flesh. When they say, I can't afford it or I can't do that, they go down. They become what they say. And I meet so many people, I can't afford it. You think I'm made of money?
Your mom used to say that. Your mom used to say that.
My dad.
Your dad.
My PhD dad, he says, what do you think I am, made of money? I can't afford that. And my rich dad would say, that's why he's poor. Poor people say, I can't afford it, I can't do that, I don't have time. Because it's an escape, you know what I mean? It's easy to say, I can't afford it. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I can't go to the gym. You know, when you could go to the gym, but no, I can't. Truth is, I'm just too lazy to go to the gym.
And you play it safe and you don't introduce new risks into your life. And so
I have job security.
Right. And your rich dad used to say what instead of I can't afford it?
How can I afford it? How can I do that? You know, what would it take or why should I do that? He says that a question opens the mind, a statement closes the mind. See, when you say I can't afford it, your mind shuts down and you become what you say. You know, like I struggle with weight all the time. You were telling me that you were on a vegan diet and all that.
Yeah.
You know, I go on a vegan diet 3 times a year. It's one of the most miserable things in the whole world, but I had the discipline to do it for 21 days. And then I'm back to pigging out again, you know. People right now who are sitting at home, who are struggling financially or worried about money or unhappy, they may be making a lot of money, but unhappy with what they're doing. It was probably taught to you. You know, your super ego was taught, get a job, work hard, or you'll never be rich, or the rich are evil, or whatever.
And until you change your mindset,
Correct.
Money won't help you, right?
Correct.
And we see that with people that win the lottery, people that make more money, they still have the same problems.
Right.
Because they have that poor man's soul.
Right. If you're poor, you'll always be poor.
That's really hard for people to understand.
Yeah, the money will disappear that fast. Just like most pro athletes, you know, they make millions of dollars and 65% are bankrupt 5 years later. It's because they come from poor families. Now you tell them that, they get very angry at you. It's the rich fault. You know, it's you guys ripped me off and government ripped me off. But unfortunately, what Mr. Lipton was saying, it's passed down genetically. That's the frightening thing. You know, as Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Yeah, but you got to have the basic knowledge of taxes, debt, financial statements, and all that. If you don't want to learn it, I can't help you. So my poor dad never wanted to learn what my rich dad was teaching me. You know, I have bad luck too. I've had financial crashes. I've had people stab me in the back, but they're all good because I grow from it. That's spirituality.
Right.
You know, people who are afraid of making mistakes, like they teach in school, they don't ever grow because spirituality is there's good and there's bad, there's right and there's wrong, there's up and there's down. Most people only want to be right. They only want to be positive. Well, you can't have that. That's not reality.
Your first two businesses, the wallet business was up and then failed, and your next
Yeah.
one was up and failed, but you would have never gotten here
If I
without
hadn't
those
failed.
quote unquote bad events.
Yeah.
Should we stop using that word bad?
Yeah, every time I failed, it was like, good. I said, okay, what have I learned? And the average person, the reason they're poor is they haven't failed. You know, they play it so safe. They haven't made any mistakes like they taught in school. That means they don't learn anything. That's why the school system's actually fundamentally corrupt. It's anti-education. Don't make mistakes and don't ask for help. If I didn't ask for help, I have my accountants, my attorneys, my bankers, and all that. You know, I go into business like a rugby team. You know, boom, boom, and we kick butt. But the average guy is standing there, oh, I'm an A student, I'm going to do this all on myself, and a bunch of rugby players run you over, and you go, well, they're not playing fair. You know what, you're playing stupid. You should have a team. You should have accountants, attorneys, and bankers and all that stuff. But that's not the game I want to play. I said, then don't play the game. You know, the game of business is played with accountants, attorneys, bankers, hate to say it, politicians. You know, you got to know the game. So what I say to young people is, you find your game. So my game financially is business, number one. Second is real estate. And that's why I pay no taxes. That's why Trump pays no taxes. Legally, it is a combination of business and real estate that gives us an unfair advantage over employees. Well, the reason the rich don't work for money is number one expense is tax. See, there's three kinds of income: earned, portfolio, passive. So earned income is if I get a job, that's earned income. If I'm a doctor or a programmer, that's earned income because I'm working for it. If I buy, let's say, Apple for $10 and I sell it for $20, that's portfolio income, capital gains.
Yeah.
But passive income, which is cash flow, is never taxed. So it's not, and so these guys are screaming right now in America, tax the rich. I said, good luck. Because most of the guys complaining, they don't know there's three kinds of income. And the rich don't have jobs anyway. They have assets. And so the average schmo out there, poor guy, you know, sent the kid to school. They don't learn this. So that's why in Fake, as you were talking about it, there's a newspaper article about Jared Kushner. Yeah. And he explains how the Trumps and the Kushners don't pay taxes and make millions of dollars. And the reporter couldn't understand him because they're not, our schools will never teach you that three types of income. Okay, this here is a balloon. So in 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. So what did that mean? That meant the U.S. government, the U.S. Treasury, could now print money. So the U.S. Treasury would sell.
Oh, hello there. This is Adam Sandler, and I just want to say you should really tell your friends about this channel. Oh,